What's up, everyone? It's Benedict here, aka BHL Hudson. Welcome back to the BHL2 channel. And today we're talking about the two new Doomsday teasers that came out. They've been dropping little individual character teasers for Captain America, Thor. Now we got one for the X-Men returning, and we got the Fantastic Four and the Wakandans in another trailer. There'll probably be more, and I'll talk about them as they come out. Not gonna lie, I'm kind of liking this marketing campaign. It's actually sort of fun to see, which characters will come out next. But yeah, let's talk about the trailers, what they mean for the film, and also, and I don't know if I'm going to title this video, I am excited for Avengers Doomsday, or okay, Avengers Doomsday has me intrigued, or something like that. But I will talk about why I actually am kind of getting quite excited for this movie. And it's not specifically because of these trailers individually, like something about, Professor X coming back or something, but just the general vibes. We'll talk about it. First of all, let's start off with the X-Men trailer. This is it's a pretty basic teaser. It's shots of, X-Men iconography. They're in Xavier's school, and it's looking pretty trashy, pretty abandoned. And Professor X, Patrick Stewart, is hanging out with Ian McKellen, Magneto. They're playing chess as per fucking usual. They've been doing this literally for, 26 years now? But yeah, and Magneto gives sort of a big speech about dying and death and what do you stand for and whatnot, which I guess, it's sort of a generic superhero speech. I guess it sort of implies that, he's on the good side, what do you die standing for, and he's gonna stand by the heroes or something. Yeah, this trailer, I'll be honest, I'll spoil it off the bat. I think the second trailer, the Wakandans Fantastic Four one, actually got me more hyped. But this is it's a solid teaser. We also get Cyclops at the end. James Marsden, he's back, and he does a big scream and shoots the lasers. Yeah, there is something inherently, I've talked a lot about bringing back older actors and how that's kind of played out now. Not because they're old, but, bringing back characters from films from a long time ago. And a little bit how the Chris Evans one, who's not old, but had that slight desperation feel to it of hit the glass in case of emergency. We're bringing back characters, this has a little bit of that, especially when you see man, Ian McKellen is very old. It's the Deadpool, you'll be doing this till you're 90 type of thing. It does have a little bit of that, that we're bringing stuff back. Please like the movie. Look, it's all the characters, from older movies. So I can understand why that, is slightly off-putting. That's part of why I like the other teaser more. But in general, I'm not against seeing Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen again. I mean, yes, they're 90 years old, and I'm not going to see this movie for that. I don't go, oh my god, it's, I've seen them a lot. We've seen a lot of characters be brought back a lot. But, it's still, they're still very good actors, and they're characters that I've seen all of their films. I've followed their journey. They're always good together. I really felt like Days of Future Past was sort of the perfect, conclusion for them. They have this sweet moment together, or they're on the same team at least, and then they die, but then they didn't die. It was all time, whatever. But that was a very well done film and a well done ending. But yeah, sure, I'm fine with seeing them again. It's kind of cool, I suppose. I am curious what capacity the X-Men will be in this film, or how they'll get into it. I'm gonna assume Doctor Doom is going around dimensions, fucking shit up, destroying. It all looks pretty abandoned. Professor X's school, and Cyclops is really mad about something. Maybe Doctor Doom has wiped out his planet or his dimension or something. So yeah, that's my guess. I'm assuming Doctor Doom goes around messing up dimensions, and then the Avengers, in one way or another, they go around and collect heroes and stuff. Okay, we gotta stop him once and for all. How that ties into Secret Wars, is Doctor Doom just this movie's villain, or does he also play into the next one, or do they defeat him? But then there's another thing that happens, or I don't know. We'll see. I'll maybe make a Doomsday predictions thing. But yeah, that's what I'm expecting here. I also wonder what other X-Men they're gonna have. Actually, we know they're gonna have Beast, I think, is coming back. Rebecca Romijn is coming back. What's his name? Alan Cummings, Nightcrawler. So yeah, I'm sure in one of these two films we're going to get Hugh Jackman Wolverine, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Maybe they're saving that for Secret Wars, but I'm sure we're going to get a bit where it's Captain America, Wolverine, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man together. But maybe in this one they pick up sort of like they did in Deadpool and Wolverine. Not like a B squad of X-Men, but not the entire X-Men group. Maybe Wolverine or Deadpool won't be in this one, but I think they'll be probably in the next one, I'd imagine. But yeah, no, we got Professor X, Magneto, Nightcrawler, Mystique, Cyclops. Yeah, that's a lot of core members. So yeah, sure, cool. I'm into it, I suppose. But the trailer that I was actually more into was the Fantastic Four Wakandans trailer. And I think the reason that this one had me more interested, obviously, I did get a bit hyped by the Steve Rogers one. I did a little MCU clap with the Steve Rogers trailer. But this one, I do think I like that it is new stuff. Like it's the first one that is, sort of phase, what is it, 4 or 5, the last few phases exclusive, where yeah, these phases have not been great, but like they've had some good stuff. Like the Black Panther movie, the second one, it was solid, it was okay. The Fantastic Four movie I quite liked. And so this is the first one, or not, I don't know, the Thor one isn't egregious, but like it doesn't feel like they're, please come see this like shiny character, shiny toy, look at the keys, come see the movie type of thing, where it's like, okay, no, this is a natural progression. So I think that, I suppose, was sort of interesting. And also, I was actually sort of intrigued by the crossover of Wakandans and Fantastic Four. I maybe wish, maybe if we'd gotten to know the Fantastic Four a bit more before this, besides their one movie, it would be more hype or more funny or more whatever. But the MCU was originally built on not just, they were good movies, but also it was fun to see characters you were invested in and had individual personalities crossing over. Like, they still do that to an extent, but it's become more like, look at the cameo. Like, it's more of a hype moment of like, look, it's Professor X and the guy from the Inhumans and, whoever else was in Doctor Strange too, or look, it's the old Spider-Man, and, they had a fun dynamic, but it's become more about the applause moment and less about, the first Avengers. It was like funny to see Tony Stark, who you're invested in and who's a snarky asshole, crossover with Captain America, who you're invested in and who's a very genuine character, crossover with Thor, who's sort of the fish out of water character. You know what I mean? Like, you were invested in the characters and their interplay was interesting and funny. And here I'm like, okay, no, I like M'Baku as a character. I think M'Baku's cool. I like Shuri, and I like the Thing from Fantastic Four. Like, it's not like a mind-blowing crossover, but I'm down to see them coming together. Same way at the end of Thunderbolts, where I was like, okay, I like these characters, and I would be down to see them, hanging out with the Avengers and what kind of funny crossovers you can have there. So I think I guess it plays more into actual funny moments and dialogue and story bits and character personalities clashing than just like, look, it's a thing type of thing. And I think I appreciate that more. Shuri in this trailer, she gives another sort of generic superhero speech about death. It's pretty standard. They're gearing up to fight Doctor Doom, and it's going to be deep. That's cool. I was thinking watching this, I should probably rewatch Wakanda Forever before this film, because I remember liking it when it came out, thinking, it was maybe a little bit long and a little bit, I thought they handled the Chadwick Boseman stuff very well, but like as a movie, it was sort of whatever, kind of boring. But I'd be interested to rewatch it, because seeing this, I was like, oh yeah, Namor, I forgot about him. I thought he was like an interesting enough antagonist. And Shuri, I like Shuri as a character. I thought also they made her a little more generic in Wakanda Forever. I guess she is, grieving and everything in that film. But she was such a, like fun presence in the first one as the little sister, and then she became kind of just like normal MCU hero. But yeah, I guess I'd be curious to rewatch Black Panther 2 to see if I get any more out of it. But I also like the the whole Wakanda thing is some of the best world building they've done in the MCU. Hearing the Wakanda music, the Black Panther music coming back, I was like, damn, that's actually, yeah, that does get me a bit nostalgic, a bit hyped. But yeah, basically, this one feels the least nostalgia baity of the teasers, and I don't know. And I also, by the way, I like this rollout they're doing of the different characters, because also, of course, you get to see like, oh, it's the characters, whatever, but you don't really know what the fuck's going on. They're clearly gearing up to take on the villain, as you do in any superhero movie. But like, in what capacity? What are they crossing dimensions? How are they fighting Doctor Doom? Why is he Robert Downey Jr.? I'll be honest, they've kind of got me. I'm like, okay, I kind of actually want to know, why the fuck is he Robert Downey Jr.? Like, what happened there? So yeah, those are my thoughts on the trailers. Now, real quick, just like why I am getting more excited for this in general, because I was feeling like I am getting hyped, and I think part of me was, maybe because I'm a grown-ass man now, and I don't make as many MCU videos anymore or whatever, and I was like, ooh, should I be getting hyped? Is that embarrassing to be getting hyped about an MCU movie in the big 26? But fuck that, dude. No, I am excited for this. I do like the Marvel movies. Shoot me, you know what I mean? Like, I do like the MCU, even though they've been poor lately. I think this also, I rewatched Infinity War, the first half of Infinity War last night, and man, that's a fucking banging movie. That is a great ass movie. I still think, I I'll make a review, part of my phase videos, whatever. And there's still things you can say about it. You know, some of the humor is a bit annoying, and in terms of like a movie structure, it is. I definitely still think it's more of like an event than a movie. But as an event, it's fucking perfect for this like universe, because I think having a bit of space and distance from it, I was just so impressed with how well it ties everything together. Like it is as like a finale to this MCU, you know, the Infinity Saga, whatever. It's kind of as perfect as you can make it. Like every character, it includes all the characters without feeling overstuffed. Everyone gets a little moment. It's like action packed. It's like non-stop fucking stuff going. I was like, holy shit, this is there's so much going on here, but not in a way that felt overwhelming. I think it is just like a perfect like series finale type of thing for that universe. And I was just kind of like taken aback by like, man, this is so fun and like cool and like, well, it's so comic booky. It feels like, you know, I don't read many comics, but like, you know, the end of a comic book saga or something, like the big finale. It had that like big feel. And I'm sure I also have some nostalgia because I was there when it came out and I was really into these movies and it was like a big event then as well. But I was really impressed by how good it was and how much I was enjoying it and how much I was laughing. And also, man, I say it's more of an event than a movie, you know, in comparison to like the first Iron Man or something, but it still has, you know, it's not like, I don't know, I can't think of a good example, but there's some movies where I'm like, okay, yeah, this is barely even a fucking movie at this point. It's like just sort of iconography and just stuff, you know, thrown at the whatever. Like it still has, with the Thanos stuff and the Gamora stuff, it still has like an emotional core to it, and, you know, stuff driving the story. And again, just like the way it ties together actual lore and mythos in the MCU for like nerds like myself who make fucking chronology videos, and also ties together like the characters' personalities, their fun crossovers, and individual character arcs and stuff. I was like, man, it's kind of fucking brilliant. Yeah, like honestly, I judge movies based on what they're trying to achieve. And so, you know, when I'm watching all these, you know, old artsy black and white French movies and this kind of stuff, like it's weird when you're logging stuff on Letterboxd and you're like, well, is this actually is Infinity War as good as Cleo from 5 to 7 from the 1950s or whatever? But it's like you can only judge movies on what they're trying to achieve. And for what that movie is, it's fucking unbelievable, actually. Like I was actually blown away by like how much fun I was having watching it. So I think that A, got me a little bit more back to my like, you know, my MCU days. But also B, I think it gave me a little more faith in the Russos, because, you know, the Russos have had some poor showings lately in terms of, you know, post-Avengers. I was thinking of making a video, like, post-Avengers Russo breakdown of, like, what, Cherry and the Gray Man and the Electric State. But in terms of MCU stuff, they did Winter Soldier, banger, Civil War, great, Infinity War, maybe the best MCU movie upon this rewatch, I don't know, Endgame, you know, I have some problems with it, but also a pretty great event, and maybe if I rewatch it, I'll have a similar feel to the Infinity War rewatch, I don't know. But it gives me a bit of faith in that, and also just, yeah, I don't know, I have some faith in the Russos, and also the last point I'll make here, and this is a personal thing, so I'm not, you know, this is not an objective, like, the MCU is back, whatever, but I guess, because, you know, I've been on YouTube for a while, and maybe if you've been watching my videos for a while, you've seen, you know, I've literally gone from I was like 12 years old when I started this, huge Marvel fan and huge superhero fan, and then you grow up and you get into different things, and, you know, maybe you're less into, I don't know, Marvel movies and whatnot, and, I don't know, but point being, I feel like I'm coming a little bit full circle where it's like, I feel like I don't have to, not that I felt this way before, but, you know, you don't, just because I also love cinema and artsy movies and French, whatever the fuck, you know, French New Wave, David Lynch, whatever the fuck, stuff, you know, film school classic stuff, doesn't mean you can't also throw on Infinity War and be like, damn, this is actually like, this is really fun. So maybe I'm like coming into a full circle moment, and maybe also the movies are getting a bit better, because like, yeah, when I'm seeing Quantumania, obviously I'm not going to be into the fucking MCU anymore, but when I'm watching, you know, Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four and whatnot, I'm like, okay, these are pretty good. Also, just like the world is kind of really grim right now, and I think, I'm not saying like, I'm sure you can make arguments about like, it's the corporate, whatever, you're falling for the nostalgia corporate, they're just throwing action figures in your face to make you happy or whatever. But I will say like the world is pretty fucked up right now, and to just be seeing like, oh yeah, it's like a movie that's like fun and has characters I like, whatever. I don't know. There's just like, maybe there's something comforting about that. Maybe that's a really dark point to make, that like, I'm more into the MCU now because the world is scary or whatever. And like, you shouldn't hide behind, mainstream entertainment and, not worry about the world or whatever. There's a million fucking arguments you can make. I don't know. I'm just saying, for various reasons, I'm maybe more into the MCU in the lead up to Doomsday than I have been for a little bit. And I'm pretty hyped, and these trailers, I'm liking the direction this is going. And maybe I am a fucking contrarian, and I'm just like, I see everyone, now everyone hates the MCU, and it's sort of like the mainstream opinion in the comments, of the trailer. I'm sure it's like, oh, lame, stupid, oh, they brought back whatever. And I'm sure I've done that as well, so, I shouldn't do the stupid voice. But I don't know, I'm just like, you know what? I am excited. So anyway, those are my thoughts and my slight rambles about the MCU and Doomsday and such. What did you think of these trailers? Let me know down below in the comments. Are you excited for Doomsday as well? Let me know. You can check out my main channel, BHL Hudson. You should like and subscribe here. You can check out my podcast. We talk about movies, TV shows, a bunch of nonsense, the Poorly Planned Podcast. You can check out my Instagram, BHL_Hudson, and my Letterboxd, Real BHL Hudson. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.